tukirudi kwa huyu jamaa wa butcher that was caught selling the dog meat. What kind of punishment do you think he should be given?
I was actually thinking about that question.
Welcome to Jimosi Podcast. So we are going to look at some of the stories that happened this week. And we're going to start on a sad story. And the story is that 3 sisters died after food poisoning in Juba, South Sudan. So there are a lot of versions of what exactly happened to these 3 ladies. So one version is that the ladies were staying in Juba. So the first version. So the mother came from the hometown, let's say Rumbek.
They say Rumbek.
Yeah, to come visit. She came with something for her child to eat. The 3 sisters ate and they died. The other version is one of the sisters that was newly married, was actually staying in a hotel in Juba. And for some reason, they used not to eat the food from that hotel. So they used to order for this special food from outside. So the husband used to send the errand guy, the delivery person, to bring in food every day. So on this particular day, they order as usual. Nobody knows what food they order or the husband ordered. And then the guy brought in the food, they ate, and they died. So those are the 2 versions that are happening. And to give a little bit of the backstory to it, why they died in a hotel, is that one of the sisters was actually newly married.
Okay.
And so what happened mostly in our society, people will marry with a lot of cows when they don't actually have their own home. So for those few days, girls are housed in a hotel. So this guy,
some instances.
Yeah, in most instances. So this guy housed his bride in the hotel room.
Okay.
And the other 2 sisters were actually visiting her because they had a home in Juba.
No, kitu nilisikia ni these 3 sisters, 2 of them share a mother. One is the step sister, who is the new bride. So the youngest of the 3 was living in Juba with a relative. I heard that she was sick, so she was undergoing some medication there. And then the newly married lady came to Juba. You know, like most of the times when you get married, there's uzir. That is, the bridesmaid would stay with you for some time, like a month or so. So probably the younger sister or the middle sister was the uzir, or she was keeping her company. So the youngest, who was staying in Juba already, came to see the sisters, and they kind of ended up staying together as the 3 of them in that hotel room. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the food was brought in, they ate, and they died. So there's a lot of accusation of which we are not going to go in to say who's actually telling, because there are 2 versions already, right? So it is the family members and the husband that know exactly what happened. But from where I sit and the kind of the health condition that I see in South Sudan, or the environment in which these food are prepared, I would say this is just a pure accident, unintended food poisoning that just happened. And even if I go with the version of mother coming with some food, the fact that she came from far, let's say she came with some milk, they might have been contaminated on the way.
Yeah.
Let's talk of the delivery person. If he brought the food from outside, and then let's say where he was buying the food, maybe it's just a kibanda, like an open restaurant, where they were cooking traditional food. I don't know exactly
like
why they had
okra, all that.
Yeah. And then they had to bring it in. So the environment there is not an unhealthy environment that I can trust and say is the delivery person that actually did something on the way. Because if the delivery person had intention of doing anything, they would have done it. Like, I don't know how long the girl had to stay in the hotel.
I think they said 3 weeks. She had been there for like 3 weeks.
So let's say 3 weeks. If the intention were, it should have happened in the second week, right? So to me, yeah, the people need to be investigated, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, in my opinion, I think this is just a pure food poisoning that was not intended, or it was unintentional that happened. Okay. Do you think the same thing, or do you have a different opinion?
Okay, first of all, I'll start by saying may they rest in peace, because it's not an easy thing to lose one person, leave alone 3 people at the same time. And then all these narrations that are coming up of a stepmother poisoning these 3 girls. First of all, the mom is said to be the mother to the one who was married. So if at all they wanted to poison, they would not let their own daughter eat the same thing, right? Because I don't think any mother would want to kill their child. So personally, I don't believe it was intentional, just like you said. Probably it's just an accident that happened. Food being prepared in an unhealthy or unhygienic place. And then currently we have like an increase in cholera cases across the entire country. So it could be one of those instances. Yeah. And then, like, if you don't have someone to rescue the situation, like on site, immediately food poisoning happens, then it ends up in a tragical way, right? So I believe, like you said, if the delivery guy, if that's the version that you go with, let's say the food was prepared outside, they don't know the conditions under which it was prepared, and the person brought it. If that's the same person that have been delivering food for the last 3 weeks, then I don't think he would intentionally, like, that person was just running their errands, right? They're after getting a job and being paid. So they have there's no big connection to someone to an extent that you'd want to eliminate them. So I don't believe that's the case. Also, for the mother, you cannot travel all the way from Rumbek to Juba to go and kill your own daughter and their stepsisters. It's quite unfortunate that our society doesn't think beyond the box, that we currently have a lot of cholera cases. So why would someone think someone is trying to kill these 3 sisters?
Yeah.
Instead of looking at the medical side of the case. And also, I heard that they might be doing some investigations. So the criminal investigations would prove like what really happened, forensic evidence and all that.
Autopsy.
Yeah.
The kind of things. Yeah, it's so sad, man. And yeah, this issue of blaming is not good. I know people will be blaming mother, people will be blaming the husband, people will be blaming almost anybody that will come across their mind. And this is happened. It's very common in our community where autopsy is not done to determine the real cause of death. People will spread a lot of lies, will do a lot of speculation on what exactly happened when they are not evidence-based. So there's not evidence attached to it, but people will still believe it. So let people wait, get the right information before we accuse anyone or blame anybody.
Yeah, and I came across an article, like a small post by Juba yesterday, saying that there was CCTV footage indicating that 2 people entered the room around 6 p.m. I don't know were the girls inside the house or not. They did not explain more about it. And some of the comments that I read under that post were quite sad. Like, people were more concerned about why were these girls staying in the hotel.
Yeah, so when the backstory is not told, right, then people question that. And again, like most of CCTV footage, sometimes they don't come with the volume. to actually
with the
hear what
voice,
people
yeah.
say. Yeah, it doesn't come with any voice to it. So
Yeah.
it's just only pictures.
Yeah.
And regularly in our hotel, they might do some check in based on what they were. Maybe these people used to come out, and for some reason they had overstayed for something and they were not coming out, no communication. So maybe they went in to check
Or
to
it
check
could
on
be
them.
like, is it what something service, room service, people to clean the room and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So like you can't entirely say this would be.
Yeah. Like that footage itself would not be, it can be used for investigation,
Yeah.
but cannot be used to conclude anything to say this is exactly what happened. And
Yeah.
people, yeah, our people will say a lot of things, and I don't think it's the right thing at the moment.
Yeah.
And even that issue of blaming mother. Unajua, kwa Kiswahili, there's a proverb that say, methali, ajuaye uchungu wa mwana ni mzazi, ni mama ama mzazi.
Yeah.
So, ni mama, because like during the child labor, is you that experience a lot of
Labor pains.
yeah. So you can't go to an extent of killing it, unless like you have some mental issues, right?
Yeah.
That you don't actually know what you're doing. But it's very sad. But what I can tell our people is to stop too much speculation and talking of things that don't make sense at this point is really bad.
What bothers me the most is the fact that some people would see, like there are people who have been trying under the reply section, under the comment section, replying to those who are asking, what were these girls doing in hotels? Someone took their time, wrote a huge paragraph explaining what happened, when this lady got married, why she was staying in hotel, and other people will come again and do that, ask the same question instead of going through some of those questions that are similar to what they were thinking. And then you read the reply and go your way. If you have nothing nice to say, just leave the comment section.
We call it illiteracy.
Yeah.
Because if you're actually literate, then if the question has been asked and there are a lot of reply to it, you have to reply. You might get an answer to your question before you post it. But then they will just see, and then they'll still post their question without thinking. It's something that's, you know, there are so many people with social media's account right now.
Yeah.
Literate, illiterate, everybody's having a phone. And everyone is just commenting anyhow. So long as you know how to type whatever that you want to type, a lot of reasoning is not there. So anyway, we'll not go into, there are so many comments out there, so we'll not respond to all of them. But yeah, it's something sad that actually happened, and may their soul rest in peace, and should be a learning to everybody out there to watch out on what they eat. Yeah, it's so bad. And our second story is that, again, in Juba, a butcher was arrested for selling dog meat at custom market in Juba. Yes. Sasa unaona hizi vitu zikilinganishwa, they might correlate in any way or have connection, right? Somebody selling a dog meat. But again, anyway, we're not going to do a speculation that they were eating a dog meat. But the thing is, why would you think somebody will kill a dog and sell the meat in the market?
I don't think they killed it. Maybe like it's a dog that got an accident and then they just picked it immediately and went and removed the skin. And then they just cut it. You know, a dog, if it's a huge dog, the meat will kind of look like a goat meat. So they can just mix it in and sell it. I'm not giving you ideas to go around doing that, but it's not good. I know there are some places where dog meat is eaten. That's good on them. But there are some places where it's not eaten. So let's respect that. Just sell what people consume where you are selling. If you go to Rome, do like the Romans do. If you are in a Chinese market, let's say, for example, they eat those things, then good on you. But then if you are in Juba, you know definitely, like South Sudanese don't eat dog meat. So sell goat, lamb, and cow meat or beef.
Yeah, so Actually, it's not like an accident that happened. They might have just grabbed the dog, kill it at night, and then bring the meat to the market in the morning. So I'm going to tell you why. If you guys, like several of you, if you have like a, how do you call it, a log or a piece of wood, hit on the head, it will die instantly. Yeah, without biting you. But again, we are not going to speculate on how that dog died. But I'm just going to tell you possibility of these people or their thinking behind to sell a dog meat in Juba.
Okay.
One of them is that in South Sudan, there are no specific slaughter houses.
There are.
If there are, then there's no regulation on the selling point.
Yeah.
Because if there are those places, yes, they are. But when it comes to inspection,
Yeah.
health officers, and then it get to the market, do they also go to the market? You see?
No, I don't think they do that. I'm not even sure if they do proper inspection, because sometimes you find someone's goat is sick or anything like that. They'll rush it to the market. You just slaughter it and
Yeah. So
push it away.
So you see there's no regulation. Unregulated market for selling meat is the problem here.
Okay.
Somebody might have just killed it, take it to the judur in the morning, put it on top, and people start buying. And our people don't come and question, where are your health papers to see that this actually was approved to be slaughtered and it's a healthy animal that was killed. Hizo vitu haziko. So long as nyama iko, watu wananunua. And it might have taken people that know how actually a dog meat supposed to look compared to the other meat and say, no,
Yeah.
this dog meat.
Or like it doesn't look like the regular goat meat, because it will be maybe smaller thighs.
Yeah. So that's where maybe the alarm was raised there, and that's how these people were arrested.
Okay.
And yeah, the government will have to do something, right?
Yeah.
They have to regulate where people are selling these things.
Yeah.
They go to the market and they should be doing random checking.
Yeah.
They come to your juzur or where you're selling meat, your butcher selling point, and ask you, where's your
License.
where's your approval letter to sell the meat, this meat that you are selling right now, that you brought it from a certain butcher. And they should do that regulation where you go buy a meat from a certain slaughterhouse, and you're given a piece of paper that you bought it here, and you're going to sell it. If a random checking is done, you have that piece of paper to show that you actually did that.
Yeah, and that it has been inspected and it's good to go to
It's
the
good to
market.
go to the market.
Yeah, you find that sometimes even like when meat doesn't get finished when you're selling the meat, and then it remains, you will just keep it, and then very early in the morning unaipeleka kwa butcher, kwa butchery, and then you start by selling that before you unveil the other meat for the day.
Well,
And then this thing is not even like
give
properly refrigerated.
give people backstory about that part.
Yeah. So like you just ile nyama ya jana unaiweka, and then in the morning you just
Yeah,
sell it
nile
like that.
South Sudan hakuna enough power supply yenye watu wako na refrigerators ya kuweka nyama yenye lilala kwa fridge ndio iuzwe. Hiyo kitu hakuna. Wanaenda wanaiweka on a regular temperatures room.
Yeah.
So hiyo kitu inaanza kuoza of that overnight. Inaweza kuwa ijaoza sana, lakini that contamination inaanza hapo.
Yeah.
But if it was like a good country where it can be kept in a refrigerator, then there's no problem na nyama yenye ilibaki ikalala. Hiyo hakuna shida. Ni hiyo lack of refrigeration. That's where penye. That's what we are questioning right now. Yeah.
And then some of those people, like, although they know what they are dealing with, right? This is something perishable. It doesn't need to get contaminated. It has to be stored in proper temperatures where it's not like even like behind the glass, so that flies don't sit on it, because they'll shit on it, and then that thing can also lead to contamination. Yeah. But those facilities are not there. You don't have a fridge, you don't have electricity, you are selling meat. You should just be so that you issue for that day, and then you get another one for tomorrow.
But if there are no consequences there for keeping it and selling tomorrow, then they will they will not sell it at a throwaway price.
Yeah.
They will just go keep it and come do the same thing in the morning. So we need punishment or some consequences. If you do that, there's a punishment to it. Now to push them to start thinking like a business people and in a proper way.
Yeah. So to me, what I would take, like for example, if I were a butcher, I would make sure if the meat doesn't get finished for the day, I'll just kabayang, like you cut it into long pieces and then you dry it. And then you can put, let's say, pili sheta or like hot sauce, not hot sauce, but the green chilies, you can just cut them and then mix with something like lemon juice or just lemon. Yeah, you squeeze lemon and salt. And then you apply it on the meat with some zait or oil. That way, you are preserving it and it will prevent flies from landing on it and eating or destroying it or contaminating it basically. And then you dry it. That way you can sell it as dried meat, sun-dried meat. And then for the next day, you just bring fresh meat into the market. To protect yourself, your integrity as someone who sells good, fresh products. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they should do. Lakini you are supposed kukumbuka that in South Sudan, people are eating vitu, man. Watu wanakula vitu zao. They also eat bush meat.
Okay. What is bush meat?
Nyama pori zinauliwa and then wanakuja wanaiuza and people still eat. So ni watu ni Spartans huko. Ni ile tu once in a while unajikuta tu you are a victim of food poisoning. So ni shida sana.
And then there's too much flies. That's the one thing that really annoys me.
Yeah, hot areas are always like that.
Oh.
So it all comes down to
hygiene.
Regulation, right? And hygiene. So, and our people don't like investing in the modern things. Because I know somebody that has been selling meat for the last 10 years. Lakini hajanunua fridge for the last 15 years. Hajanunua fridge. Hajatengeneza a glassy
to put meat inside
and protect it from the outside whatever so that it reduce the flies.
Na dust.
Yeah, so for the last 10 years. Iko tu hivyo, ni mabibi tu ndio moja after another. One after another. I'm like, man, if you are doing this business, yeah, invest in it. Tengeneza tu hiyo place yako ya juzuru, eka some glass, no fridge, it will keep you, your meat ikuwe inaenda longer. And people watakuwa na kujua kama jamaa wako uza vitu fresh.
Yeah.
Unaona? But anyway, sometimes you don't blame people because they actually have to be outside the country to see that
how other people operate.
Venye huwa inafanywa. Because kama mimi sahi, let's say kama singekuwa nimetoka South Sudan, ningekuwa najua tu nyama inalekwa Judhunom and then after hiyo inapelekwa nyumbani you come. Yeah, and that's what you do. But because I came to Kenya, nikaona venye bucha za Kenya zinakwanga glassy, zinakwanga na fridge. Unaona? So if I were to go back, that's what I will invest in because it'll keep nyama for long.
Yeah.
Unaona? But juu sasa wajatoka. But again, I can't really saa zingine ni watu kukataa kulearn how to do things, right?
The same country, within the same country kuna Darfur wenye wanafanya.
Yeah, Darfur wamekuja, some other Kenyans and Ugandans wamekuja na wameinvest kwa hiyo how to keep the meat fresh. Wanafanya hizo. But they say it's wasting money. They don't believe in investing in one craft.
Kwanza hadi kuna jamaa moja, they have this meat grinding machine. Yeah. When you buy it from them, they just grind it like
if you are interested,
yeah, if you want ground beef. If you buy it from elsewhere, I think they used to charge you like 500, 1,000 to grind. Alafu maisha inasonga mbele.
Yeah,
So
so
like those are people who are really into what they are doing.
yeah, so ile excuse ya kusema ni watu kutoenda nje tumeitoa tu sahii ni people not wanting to learn.
Yeah.
And then they
Or
think
you don't
that
want to
it's
grow.
just too expensive to but yeah, anyway.
We're taking like more expensive things, right? Like
Yeah.
getting married to multiple women. Can find someone has 5, 6.
Yeah.
Unajua ng'ombe za kuoa mtu mmoja hata kama unalipa 30. That's more than what you would spend to buy a fridge na renovate hiyo judo to make it glassy, like a permanent structure. Yeah.
Yeah. Na watu wetu, most of the time we do things ni kama in the next 2 to 3 days we'll not be coming back to the same place.
Yeah.
And you come there over 15 years, you are doing the same thing. You should invest in it.
Yeah.
Once you invest in something, it always give it back to you in a certain way, right? So
Yeah.
even with a respect or with that trust that you are a guy that sell good things.
Yeah, because you might end up just operating that small butchery, and then in like 2, 3, 10 years down the line, it opens up to be like a very big meat factory. You can do like different things with that small beginning.
Okay, sasa tukirudi kwa huyu jamaa wa butcher that was caught selling the dog meat. What kind of punishment do you think he should be given?
I was actually thinking about that question. He should be fined. Like he should pay a fine of some amount, some millions or something. Not sure how much they usually fine people now that the dollar and pounds keep on fluctuating. But then on top of that, there has to be like a jail term. Let's say minimum of 6 months in prison. So that this can serve as an example to anyone who might be trying to do the same thing in the near future. To know that there are consequences of trying to get through a shortcut to become rich and to risk the lives of people by selling unwarranted goods.
Well, to me, because dog meat is not poisonous, right? So it's just that it's not allowed in that country. So I'm just okay with him being fined. And if there was a license for one to be a butcher, then it has to be
Revoked.
It has to be revoked, being cancelled. He has to look for other line of business for him to operate in. But this thing of butchery, he should be out of butchery. He's not supposed to do it again. Because unajua, South Sudan is not a country where things are put on mainstream media or televisionalized so that everybody can see what you did and the kind of punishment that you got for people to learn. Television or other type of media are privileged to some people. So putting him in jail, to me, I feel like it will be a lesson to him, but it will not reach the entire public the right way that it was intended.
Okay.
So because this is not, like, to me, it's not a big crime, right?
No,
it's just
it is like assuming that dog was infected or something.
Well, we are not going to make
risking people.
It's not good to make a lot of assumption here, right? Because if we are going to do assumption here, then we're going to also do the assumption that even some of the butchery people, other butchers that are selling regular meat might be also from sick animal. And it will be the whole regulation thing that have to be put in place. So to me, like, fine is okay. His license being revoked and yeah, a big fine that he will never forget. But it won't sound like the fine itself, right? If you are struggling to the point that you are selling a dog meat, the fine that you will be given is not something that you're just going to pay out of pocket.
But do you think this person was just selling dog meat? I'm assuming probably he was selling other types of meat, right? Because these people, they don't just sell one type. You can find someone has cow, goat, and lamb. So it's up to the customers to choose what they want. it's highly unlikely that the person was only selling dog meat. Maybe they were combining dog meat with goat meat. They have it side by side. And then when someone points, let's say, give me this meat, they'll just wait to look around and wing it and then cut immediately from the other side. Or they have some pieces, small pieces already cut and put on the table. So when you ask for something, they'll tell, this one is good, this one is good. And then they cut from where you pointed and combine it with it. These people don't just sell you what you want. There are some types of meats that they usually want to push out. So they'll give you this and then cut you a small piece of what you wanted from the hanging meat.
Yeah,
so I feel like they were not just selling the dog meat alone. Yeah.
But also my thinking is a little bit different from yours. I'm actually thinking, this was just a title that a butcher arrested. But to me, hii inakaa huyu ni jamaa wa nyama choma. Because in most cases that I have heard of, people even selling cat meat, if these people that sell nyama choma, mutura, and this small meat pie that are put on a piece of a tree or a stick on a stick. So this one, I feel like alikuwa amenini nyama kidogo kidogo and then akakuja kawa na ichoma hapo. So I think there's maybe somebody might have saw him when he was doing it at night or whatever the time, and then they just followed to see what this guy will do during the day. And then maybe they came and found him is anauza nyama choma. Because I've had cases of people selling cat meat, dog meat has
that
nyama choma.
happens even in Nairobi, like in most East African countries.
Yeah, because it's to me like it seemed like the dog meat will be a little bit distinct from the other animal meat, right? If it was to be like in a regular butchery shop. So I feel like this guy was doing nyama choma.
Yeah, but
on the roadside.
They have to have like very strict regulations when it comes to what people consume.